This is Life's a Pitch TV. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lackens, all about hearing. Forward Floors, Ginger Pickle, Fred Olsen Logistics, The Dove, Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, Venue 16, The Hudson Group, Come Hither Design, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and Suffolk Sound. Our charities this year, Cancer Support Suffolk and the Ipswich Town Community Foundation. Welcome to this week's edition of Life's a Pitch TV. I'm your host, Mark Murphy, and as you can tell, we've got quite a few pink shirts in tonight. The shirt of choice, really, isn't it? The shirt of choice. Let me introduce you to the team. It's Terry Butcher. It's Russell Osman. And we're not sure where Chambo is, but, you know, he'll turn up when he wants, won't he? So, yeah, he'll be here at some point or other during the course of the show. Fingers crossed. Also on technicals tonight, we've got Richard, John and Mark, everybody. Hey! Leslie Dolphin's our floor manager. Hey! And you are our capacity crowds. The Churchman stand sponsored by John Keeble Cars. Hey! And the North stand sponsored by Ashford Wright. Hey! We are on YouTube. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. We're on podcast, wherever you get your podcasts from, and on Suffolk Sound on a Saturday lunchtime at midday. What a time to be an Ipswich Town supporter. A 2-1 win at the weekend.
We are staying up, say we are staying up. We are staying up, say we are staying up. We are staying up, say we are staying up.
We are. Wasn't that fantastic? Well, I'll tell you what we need is a special guest who knows what it's like to win Premier League football games. In fact, he was the manager the last time we won a Premier League football game over 20 years ago. Our special guest this weekend, it's only George Burley, everybody! George, welcome. It's been a long while since we won a Premier League football game.
It didn't seem that long. It was a long time, but who's counting? And the most important thing is we're back in the Premiership, we're winning games, and we're all enjoying it.
Oh, it's a great ride, isn't it? It's a great ride. I thought I would never see us playing Premier League football again in my lifetime, and it's just fantastic. And the win at the weekend, that will have lifted so much pressure off everybody, won't it?
Yeah, I mean, people saying that the only team that hasn't won a game in the Premiership, so that's gone. But when you look at the performances, they've been good. Every game you think we had a chance to win, so that's encouraging. Because, you know, you've got to play well to win games. And we were very unfortunate against Leicester, where we were streets ahead of them in every department. Decision went against us. Lucky enough on Saturday, all went well, scored a couple of good goals, held on to 3 points, and looking forward to Man United.
Yes, fantastic. Who are they? We're not far behind them. We've also got you here tonight because this fantastic book is now out. We've been talking about it a lot on the show, the George Burley era. It's out. The man who's been responsible for this is also going to join you on the sofa tonight. Neil Prentice, everybody. Good to see you, Neil. Thanks ever so much for coming on the show today. Stick those microphones right up on your chin so we can hear everything that you've got to say.
Are you not fed up of each other? You know, because you must have been collaborating for a long time.
Not at all. Not at all. It's been an absolute privilege.
You got on all right, did you?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. No, I'm nothing. No offence against you, George. No offence against you.
By the way, my time doesn't come cheap.
I know.
What was it like, George? I mean, this is a fabulous book, an absolutely fabulous book. It really is. What was it like going back through all the memories of your long time at Ipswich Town as a player and a manager? What was that process like for you?
Yeah, fantastic. Most of my life, really, has been in Ipswich, playing for Ipswich, managing Ipswich. And then when Neil suggested it, and he said, well, you've been involved with more games than any other person, as far as 500, league games, all in Europe, played in Europe from 73 to 83, all in Europe. Then as a manager, to take the club back to the Premiership and finish in 5th. So many happy days, great times with Russell and Terry. They stick. People ask me when was the best time. Mine was when I was apprentice at Ipswich. When I came with such a great group of boys who really enjoyed playing football and were bringing up an idea under Sir Bobby. It was fantastic. The whole town was alive, talking about football. We're winning games, we're playing in Europe with 14 international players. So it couldn't have been a better time to play. And then as a manager, of course, getting back into Europe and finishing 5th was extraordinary when you look at the results. So great times, great memories, and I really look forward to working with Neil, and he's done a fantastic job with the book.
Amazing achievements in your career with Ipswich Town. It's all chronicled in here. And Neil, you did a book about the boys of '81, which was a huge success as well, and this kind of follows on from that.
Yeah, it does. That was a long while ago now. It was 14 years ago that we did that one, and that was a fantastic thing to work on and put together. But this one was something that was very personal to me because this was a period that I witnessed, and it was really special to be a supporter at that time and to follow George's teams as they went through all that playoff heartache. Then we ultimately got promotion, and then that season in the Premier League to finish 5th was something that I didn't think I was going to see, and I savoured every moment of it.
Was incredible that season, wasn't it? Amazing.
It's got a bit of a weight warning, isn't it? Because it's bloody heavy, I'll tell you now. It's amazing, but it's contained lots of information and everything else. But it just goes well with the '81. They're similar, and hopefully they'll be well loved by the town fans.
People will read this cover to cover, but it's one of those books that you'll be able to put down and pick up and open up a page at some point and just look at the memories, and just remember those times. It is fantastic. Who were the apprentices that you were with then, George, when you started?
Me and a boy called Kenny Taylor was the two first ever Scottish boys to come here. So nobody understood a word that we said. When we used to get into, get our cream cakes and all that, and Eustace. That was great. And the Sporting Farmer for a pork pie and a pint of milk.
Yep.
So they were good days. But it was fantastic because it was a big decision to come all this way. 400 miles from Ayrshire was a long way. But once I got here, you get the football took over because we loved playing football, loved training. And we had one of the best coaches there, the best manager, and the place was just beginning to take off. Sir Bobby came, had a hard time for the first sort of 6 months, and then settled down, then got the team into Europe, 72, and then I got my debut at 73 at Old Trafford. So it all fell in place, but it was really enjoyable time to be in Ipswich, because people from abroad used to say, well, where are you from, Ipswich? Oh, that football team. So they knew Ipswich because of the football team, and it's great that we're back, back to the Premiership, and everybody abroad now is beginning to talk about Ipswich again.
Who were the big characters in the dressing room when you first got there? Because, as you said, Sir Bobby had a bit of a tough time, didn't he, with one or two of them?
Yeah, I think one or two, that would be sort of 71, 72, where, I was only 15, there was a couple of scrapes, I think, where Bobby had to sort out one or two. But he got there. We all have a lot of problems initially, and then you've got to sort it out. But when I look at the team, you look at the Scottish boys, Johnny Wark, Alan Brazil, and then you've got the local lads came through with Terry, came through a wee bit later, and then you had Russell
from the Midlands.
And with the Carlisle, you had Kevin Beattie and Steve McCall, David Geddes. So Bobby got all the players from all over Britain and brought them. He used to go up to Scotland about 3 times a week to look at trial games. He was a fantastic manager. you know, and never to forget. And our style of football, because when you went abroad, people wanted to see us play, because we were a passing team. We were brought up with passing the ball all the time, you know, and even you see people from Scandinavia, they love Ipswich Town. They want to come every season to watch us play. Even they came back the last 3 or 4 years, so they must have been desperate for them. but now they're really enjoying it. They're really enjoying the standard of football and the way we play, and it's fantastic going down there for the games. I mean, that atmosphere at Liverpool, first game of the season, was unbelievable. Unbelievable. We've got a bigger support than we did even then. So that's growing and growing, and because the families are coming to the games now. You know, you don't get one season ticket from a family, you get 3 or 4. So football's changed a lot, you know, all seated stadiums and that. And when you look at the stadium when I came in 71 to what it is now, it's a million miles. And Russell was talking about Tottenham's stadium on Saturday. So that's what you want to emulate, something along those lines. If you can stay in the Premiership for the next 2 or 3 years, you'll be able to build it and build on and make it bigger and bigger.
And we got a better presenter than last year down at the ground, didn't we?
But he's certainly, I don't know about better, but he's certainly louder.
He's certainly louder, yeah.
Butcher, I'll see you in the car park.
Touche.
Tell us about that debut, George, against Manchester United. When did you find out? What did Sir Bobby say to you?
Yeah, I mean, he told me on the Thursday to bring my gear to travel. I mean, I was only 17 and well, okay, they would take me to a little bit of experience. But I think Jeff Hammond was playing at that time and he got injured. So they were looking, I thought Bruce Twomley was going to be chosen. So I took my stuff, and then he told me on the Friday morning that I was going to play. I saw unbelievable. So I told my mum and dad and that, and they came from Ayrshire, and they had about an 8-hour drive up there. You know, there weren't very many motorways in that day and age. So I goes up there, and then when he walks on up the bus, Bobby Robson, and he says, "Is your mum and dad coming to the game?" And I said, "Yeah, they'll be at the game. They're over there." So right, he went straight over there and said, "Mr. and Mrs. Burley, there's 2 director's box tickets to see your son play." So that made me feel, you know, walking up to my mum and dad, $1 million, great. We're out on the pitch. Bestie only nutmegged me 3 times, so I didn't have a bad game. And amazing, from that day on, I had 500 games, and he never left me out once. And you think in this day and age where you hear, oh, he's a bit younger, we'll play him 3 or 4 games, and then introduce him maybe later. Bobby stuck by. I would make mistakes, which I did, you know, and everybody does, of course, but he didn't leave me out, because he believed if those mistakes, you'll learn from it, and it'll make you a better player. So for 500 games later, he never left me out.
And that's
that was incredible.
Philosophy that you kept as a manager as well, wasn't it? If they're good enough, it doesn't matter what age they are, and you brought so many young players on, so you obviously learnt a lot from him. We have one missing member of the team who has arrived, and we have a song for him, I believe, Capacity Crowd, don't we?
He comes when he wants.
He comes when he wants. Luke Chambers. He comes when he wants.
I'm very sorry, guys.
Hey.
Very sorry, guys. I must have missed the early kick-off memo.
Sorry, it was early kick-off for Sky.
How embarrassing. Sorry, guys.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Welcome.
Forfeit. I owe you all one, so...
We'll take you up on that.
Yeah,
we were going to get a yellow card, but then we thought, no, we hadn't better do that. So
A red one, I think red one was good.
no, we wanted him to stay. Now he's here. So many games, George, in that era, and you saw Sir Bobby building different teams. We had Brian Hamilton on the other week, and he was talking about the team that had, you know, Hunter, Beattie, you, Hamilton, Viljohn, Talbot. You know, the team from around 75 that was, when you look at the players there, fantastic team. And then the 78 team, the 81 team, continual building all the way through from Sir Bobby, wasn't it?
Yeah, you talk about those years. I already said to stay in Europe 10 years in the trot. That's amazing for a small town like Ipswich. But Sir Bobby started from the bare bones. He brought young players through. He managed. I mean, he only signed 14 players in 22 years. 14 players. You know, amazing. You know, you think now, you know, Now, we signed 14 players this summer. And that's never easy to get them all together, but that's the way football's changed, So we had to get those building blocks and get everybody into the same way of thinking about playing football, And we were brought up of repetition, like Russell and Terry would be out practicing there, I'll be crossing balls in, Walkie be heading them in. This is after training. And I mean, when I was a manager, I couldn't believe, once the session finished, everybody's walking off the pitch. I think, what's going on here? That's not on, by the way, because you have a session with your coaches, then you've got to take responsibility to improve yourself. And we did that all the time. So we weren't happy just to finish there and there in the league or how good we were. We wanted to do more. And that came from Bobby Robson. And that came from the coaches. So that was so important. And that's what you try to introduce to your squad. And I eventually, the squad who finished 5th in the Premiership were brought up year after year to try and improve. And that's what they did. And they reached the peak and did incredibly well. So it was ingrained in you to get the ball, pass it and doing it. And when I see on the telly people are shooting and it's kicking it over the bar, or they're kicking it wide. Hey, if I'm a golfer and I kick it wide, I'm out of bounds. So I'm not going to win the tournament. So when I'm out in the football field, I've got to be able to get it to A to B. Don't miss them. Shooting, don't miss the target. So we were brought up not doing that from a Monday to a Friday. Because if we missed the target, Bobby Ferguson, what would he done?
Oh yeah,
very good on the basics, weren't we? Fit. You had to be fit, you had to be strong, and your basics had to be very good. And your basics were passing the ball and being able to control it. And they worked on those all the time, and everything else was built on top of that. That was your foundation.
We used to, on our days off, so we got a Wednesday off, which was very rare, but we got a Wednesday off. We'd go in. We'd be in there. Just several players would be in there, still passing the ball and still drilling the ball, because it was something that you wanted to be perfect at. No, you probably never get to perfection, but you wanted to be as close as you could. So you had to master the ball like they do in snooker and tennis and all these sort of things. And they, then darts, it's not a ball, but it's an arrow. So they master that tool that they have. So we had to do that, and it was fun. That sort of grew you together as well, and that's what you did. And probably we did that until we found alcohol. Then we changed.
You were nodding away there, Chamber.
Yeah,
that
because I hear that, and when I started, I was literally first one on the training pitch, last one off, like literally my whole career. And now, when I go back to maybe when Paul Cook was in charge, lads were getting told, session's finished, get inside, like no more training. And now minutes are managed and you can't do extras, and they think doing more work in the gym is going to benefit them more than doing more work on the pitch.
Is that from them, or was it from the fitness trainers and everything else? Yeah.
The management, the fitness, the staff, whoever's in charge of that things or trying to justify their role is making those decisions. And for me, the only way to hone your craft and to get faster and to get sharper and to get a better touch and better technique is to spend more time on the pitch with the ball, not lifting weights in the gym, because we're not sprinters at the end of the day.
George?
I think that's where it's changed. So Bobby Robson, myself, in Ipswich, we did everything. There wasn't another coach who would say we need to be doing that. I know Matt Holland said in the books that was one of the things. I wasn't a good delegator. I wanted to do it my way. And as a manager, that's what you did. You did everything. Bobby Robson would pick the grass seed for the groundsman and do everything. But that was the way it is. And you listen to people, but you would do it your own way. And in this day and age, they've got so many coaches, and they've got to justify their free kicks, their corners, their trading, their fitness. So they want an input because that's their job. That wasn't a job when I did. I was the one that was going to get sacked. I was the one that the scores was going to be me. Win, lose or draw. Yeah, so I did everything, but now it's completely different. And I cannot believe the injuries you get. Oh, I've never heard so many hamstring injuries and this injury. Like Russell played, was it 66 games on pitches that were muddy, was there, and you're playing in Europe every week. They weren't easy games. You're playing in Europe and you're playing in the Premiership. And out of a squad of 15, when I did my knee in 81, so I was out for 7 months. But apart from that, those players, most of them all played 40, 50 games a season. You're not getting this anymore.
No, I think there's a lot of noise being made about the elite boys. They are non-stop 12 months of the year, and I think that is out of hand. But in terms of like anyone below that, look at the Championship, it's the bottom half of the Premier League. Their international breaks 3 or 4 times, 5 times a year, and they're having breaks, they're having time off. Yes, the game is physical, but for me, your job is to be ready to play football, and 50 games a year is what you should be aiming for as a professional, and that comes again from spending time on the pitch, not off the pitch, and I think that's where the game's gone now, and it absolutely baffles me that people are told by coaches or strength and conditioning coaches that they need to come off the pitch.
But
because
it's not
they've
as
done too
physical
much.
as it was. Look at the pitch
Well,
for
again,
argument's sake. The pitches these boys played on and George played on, ploughed fields.
Exactly, and it's something for people to hide behind, in my opinion, and I might have a strong opinion on it.
And the tackles that be
but
flying in, Look
Yeah,
at
exactly.
Russell. Look at Russell.
No, the tackle's all
But
right.
you look at that now, though.
It's the right-hander that used to
in
get
that
you.
in that time, you're getting injured because you're getting smashed. You're not getting
Yeah.
injured because you're pulling your hamstring or your calf
Oh,
or,
you did get
or your
smashed.
quad. You're getting injured through contact, and there's not masses amount of injuries through contact nowadays.
A lot of that came from pre-season, didn't it? What you did pre-season.
Yeah.
I was just going back to George's. I was with George for Scotland, and George would tell me what dimensions he wanted everything set up. And he'd come down and do coach. So it's great, no problem. So I went down, sent everything up early, and then George would come down and he'd change it. He'd change everything because he'd come down and he'd go.
Wasn't a good delegate.
No, he wasn't a good delegate. And I thought, well, that's a complete waste of time. And I go, thanks, George. So I'm looking like a mug here. No, but I wasn't bothered about that because I knew that when he'd come down, he'd see with his eyes what was right. Not, he wouldn't have, he says, no, I've got to change this. And he would go and mark out everything again. And the boys would get warmed up and they'd come and we'd do it and it was happy. So it wasn't a problem, but it was just showed you the perfection and what he wanted to get from the session because it wasn't quite right.
Yeah. I mean, Bobby Roberts says that those eyes you've got is the best things you've got. Because sometimes you have sessions, Luke was saying about time factor, because you can do a session and it might go really well, bang, 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 right, finish, half hour. Then you'll do another session and it's, right, it's not good enough, we'll start again. So it all depends on the sessions, because some people say it's got to be 20 minutes and that's it finished. But if you're doing something that they can't work out or they're really bad at it, you're going to do it for longer. If they're really good at it, a good passing session, that's fine, great.
You're done.
Move on. So it's up to, knowing and getting a feel of people. Like Matt Holland says about, I used to take the fitness test before the game. I used to give them a fitness test in the car park. There's the ball son. Oh yeah, you're fine, you're all right. Because I could tell by his eyes whether they could play or not. Usually I was almost 100% sure I was right. Where you get a physio, right, he's got to run 100 yards at a certain speed or that, or he won't be fit to play on a Saturday. I was like, are you sure? It's controlling what you want out the field, knowing what's right and wrong, and having that expertise to get it right.
Luke, what was it like when you came to Ipswich Town? And we talk about the history, the time that George was there from the early 70s right the way through to the 80s and then back as a manager. How aware are you of that history when you come to a club like Town?
Oh, hugely, because I grew up not too far away from here, really, and I saw that era happening, and I was sort of 15, 16 years old, and the players that I saw and the scenes at Wembley and the history, and you can't escape the history of this club. When you arrive, the pictures are on the wall, rightly so, and the trophies are in the cabinet, like the guys up the road. I just dropped that one in. So you can't escape it, and you're walking into a big club with a huge culture and environment, and your drive as a professional is to emulate that, and I pinch myself every week sitting in with these two, and I was on a panel last week with Alan Brazil and Johnny Walk, and I'm like, what am I doing here? Do you know what I mean?
You deserve to be there.
But no, you do.
You got there on time, though, didn't you?
I got there on time, yeah. He's right. But no, it's an incredible football club, and we've now created that new history as well, so it's like it's back where it belongs, and you want to be a part of that. Anyone that joins the club, it was our aspirations to emulate that, but thankfully we are now.
I'll talk to you in a minute, Neil, I promise, who's put the book together, I promise. As a player, George, biggest moment, would that be the FA Cup?
Yeah, I think 78, I mean, we'd got to the semis before, and 75 got robbed by the referee again. The build-up, the semi-final at Highbury was a game I'll never forget. It was a fantastic game, got through, and that whole way back from Ipswich, to Ipswich, all the bridges were blue and white, and they're all cheering. Then for the whole month before it, every shop was covered in blue and white. So that whole month, blue and white, everybody wanted a ticket, they wanted to go to Wembley, they wanted to win it, and we did. So I think as a playing, it doesn't get any better than that.
That feeling when the final whistle went, can you put that into words?
Yeah, I mean, it was great that Roger, local lad, Roger is one of these lads you would trust with your earth. He was a 100%er, so I think it was great for him to score the winner. And really, it should have been about 5-0. I think Walkie hit the bar twice, and Mara's hitting the post and that. And
did you have a shot? Did you have a shot?
Well, just getting on to it.
Oh, okay, fine.
I'm just getting on to it.
I thought you forgot, but no. Carry on.
It's in my book, by the way.
We've only got till 7:30.
The header, far post, and big Pat Jennings, big mop, big Paul managed to keep it out. So it was memorable, and my family were there, mum and dad and brother and that, so that was great. And I think anybody that was there from Ipswich will something you'll never forget.
And the scenes on the Cornhill as well, amazing.
The whole of the town, they really were up for it, and looked forward to it so much. And we had a great team but not won anything, and say, you didn't win the league. But for me, the memories of that period and that era was second to none for us to be so successful.
Of course, then the UEFA Cup, but you were crocked, weren't you? Which was a big disappointment, I would imagine.
It was February, March. We only, those days, we only had one sub, and I jumped up for a ball. There wasn't any contact, and my leg was underneath, and I felt someone go in. And I never got a treatment, by the way. I just went and got on with things, but I hobbled up a bit, and I think Toby Eggleston come on, and he says, well, you have to come off. But we'd made a sub, and Bobby says, just play in the right wing. No,
with a cruciate.
No cruciate. That's lying in the ground. Major ligament cartilage. So I'm walking, and Walkie kept passing me the ball. I said, Walkie, I can't bloody move. Don't pass it this way. But we'd made one sub, so I had to keep on the pitch to the end of it, and then get sorted afterwards.
That's typical of Walkie, though.
Typical.
Fantastic, Neil. We'll finally get to you. Look, you've put this fantastic book together.
Hi, Neil.
We've got one in the cover there, but this is what it's going to look like on the bookshelves. All to play for. Labour of love for you. You're a huge Town fan, and to be with one of your idols for so long putting this together. What was it like?
It was an absolutely brilliant experience to do this project. It really was. George was very generous with his time, and all that professionalism that you sense that George has got throughout his playing and his managerial career have come through in the book as well. It was a great thing to sort of go through, both from his playing side, and there's more of a focus on the managerial side, and just also getting that sense of George's positivity and character and attention to detail as well.
And no shortage of people wanting to come forward and pay tribute to George. Martin Royce, one of them.
Indeed, yeah. Martin's been really supportive, and he's really enjoyed the process. I think Martin enjoys the limelight. I think it's fair to say that. And he was fantastic for George as a player, and he's been really supportive with the project as well. But we've actually included interviews with 36 different people in the book, in addition to George.
Amazing.
He didn't ever. I said this before. He didn't ever mention that he broke my cheekbone in 1978, did he at all? Was it in the book?
It's not in the book.
Oh, it's not in the book?
No, it's not in the book, no.
Oh, great.
It didn't quite make the cut.
I always said I was never beaten in the far post, and Terry found that out.
Well, yeah, heading the ball, but not heading my cheek, George,
I got in the way.
No. But cheers, anyway.
He don't hold a grudge, don't worry.
No.
Get over it, son.
I only missed the Charity Shield, but
That's
apart
all
from
right.
Oh,
that,
you
it's
didn't
fine,
miss a lot.
No.
So Royster was a great Dutch tradition of having players over from there, and he was fantastic, and the fans absolutely loved him. He's going to be coming on the show, hopefully in a few weeks' time for us. As Neil said, the players queuing up and people queuing up to talk about you. Mauricio Taricco was one. I remember him coming with Adrian Paz, wasn't it? And Taricco really struggled to start with, but he had that great ethic. He was going to make a success of it, wasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, with any player coming from abroad, coming from Argentina, I mean, it's difficult, and especially sometimes when they played in the reserves at Bury. I remember Adrian Paz says, "Me no playing that ground again." but you need to play, Adrian. No, I'm not going to Bury to play again. So he didn't play again for the first team either. Yeah, I mean, it is difficult, and Mauricio was a great lad, and he was a type, he wasn't particularly quick, he wasn't the biggest or strongest, but what a player he was. I mean, a typical foreign lad defender. I'm talking about far post, nobody but jumped Mauricio far post because he stood on his toes first before they could move, and he was great in the ball, and then he eventually went to Tottenham and did really well. So it did take him time, but that's what happens at times, to develop the type of football we play. It's a lot faster than the type of football they play where they're coming from, so it does take time, but they get there eventually.
What's it like reading what they've said about you?
I've just read the good parts. Players, if they're in the team, they're playing regular, they love it. But we did have a good group. We're not talking about 1 year, we're talking about 3-4 years of build up. All great characters, and you try to get that spirit. And when you move into a club to start with, it's not easy, and you've got to try and change things and get players who want to play for you. And that was the same. I had a really big squad. We came out of the Premiership, and it was a case of building, and we got better and better. And there was a belief every time we got in the playoffs, I will do it next year, I will do it the following year. And we, from the fans and the board and the chairman, they all believed that we could do it, and thankfully we did on the fourth time. So that was amazing, and so we had a good spirit and going into the Premiership, and that stood us in good stead.
You mentioned the chairman there, David Sheepshanks, is featured in the book. What did he say, Neil?
David gives a fascinating interview. It was brilliant. I went to see him and showed him what I had planned, and he was really enthusiastic about it. And he's been really honest about his time as chairman. I think he still feels a real weight of responsibility about what happened. But talking to so many of the people who were involved in the club at that time, they all talk about it as the happiest, their favourite part of their career, and I was able to tell him that that's how they felt at the end, and I think that meant a lot to him.
Yeah, because it was financially difficult times, George, wasn't it, after relegation?
Yeah, it is. I mean, if we'd have finished third bottom the last game of the season, in the first year, people say, "Oh, unlucky, we stayed up." But finishing fifth, it was quite a high standard to start with for the third season, and every player reached a peak. That was the sort of fourth, fifth years, and every player played a part. And when you look at 11 home wins, 9 away wins in the Premiership, I think we lost 3 games at home by the odd goal. It was amazing how we did it. Of course, it's a lot harder now, with the way the finance and everything is, but it wasn't easy then either. So to still be the highest team to finish after promotion is incredible. But we had a great squad, and Marcus Stewart scored 19 goals. That was great, and that was the year I think Marcus could have been picked for England. The way he played, but a great set of lads who got better and better through time, who worked very hard. With any team, it's got to have a great spirit, and you look at the characters there. You get your Matty Holland, your Jim Magilton, Tony Mowbray, Marcus Stewart. They were all big personalities, which you need. You need that.
And you were saying there that everybody was together, and it's something I said on the show a couple of weeks ago. We have been, over the last couple of years, all together, fans and players and staff at Ipswich Town, been a few niggles and grumpy people at the beginning of this season. Hopefully that'll all be behind us now we've had our first win. But to be successful, we have all got to be on the same page, haven't we? Fans, the players, everybody.
Yeah, and I think it starts from the manager. You know, the manager starts it all off. You know, because when you've got a group of players, the mentality comes from you, and if you are not right with them, it'll backfire on you. So you try to treat people, you know, with the same. You want the enthusiasm. You want to do it right on the training pitch. You want the standards high. You want to be doing things right from day one, and that's what Kieran's done. You know, and he's built that team, and he's got some great players together and got the best out of them. You know, and that's all about managing. You know, and we did it with a lot of young boys as well. You know, I had about 6-7 boys who are 17-year-old. You know, your Richard Wright, your Kieran Dyer, your Darren Ambrose, your Darren Bent, your James Cockcroft, your Richard Naylor, all 17-year-old, 18 in the first team. So that was coming through the academy. It's tougher now. You don't see so many. There's more competition, and that's sad, really. You know, and they've got this situation where economically it's better for them to sell their homegrown players. I've never heard anything so mad in all my life. You know, as fans, surely you want to see young players coming through and playing in your first team. Surely, you know, they're one of your own, as they say. And now they actually benefit from selling it, which is crazy. So that has got to change. But it is getting more difficult, I think, for youngsters to come through. Luke,
would you have liked to have played under George Burley as your manager? I think you two would have been a really good fit, actually.
It would have been fine to start with, that's for sure.
Not a good start, not a good start.
Right side centre half, right back, right side centre half.
No, obviously, I know of George and have done for years, and the players that I played with played for George, and they had nothing but good things to say about him, and Dave McGoldrick and Bartos, and I think that Bartos didn't probably play as much as he'd like, but he still had a glowing reference of him. And
I brought Bartos over when he was 17 to Hearts.
Exactly.
Did he tell you that?
Yeah.
Hearts, and then he went to Southampton.
That's it.
And then he came here when I had left. But Bart he's living over in Spain now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's living the dream now in the sunshine. But yeah, of course, I just want to work with good, honest people, and when you do that, I think the relationship's easy. If you give your best and approach things the right way every single day, I don't see where there can be any problems. If you're not a good enough player, you'll soon have the conversation, and you'll read between the lines, and if you're not in the team, you'll move on. That's the nature of football. But yeah, that's where I think it might be a little bit different in this day and age, where I think that's why Ipswich has been so strong, because of the relationships that the manager's been able to build and the culture that he's been able to build, and I don't see that is at every club currently, and that's why I think a lot of them do struggle.
Russ?
Not a bad back four, actually, is it?
It's all right, isn't it?
You know,
right
you
back
play
again.
right
back again, Luke.
George will go right back, you go right side centre half. I'll go left back if you like, and you probably played left back more than me. Actually.
I could do a stint at left back. Yeah,
especially in Europe.
I could hurt a few wingers out there. That'd be great. Yeah, I love that.
A couple of quick stories from you two about George, your time playing with him.
Yeah. No, they called him Two Dinners, didn't they? Yeah, his nickname was Two Dinners because
half a dinner at the moment.
Yeah, because he would eat 2 dinners, and he was still fussy now with your food as well, particularly. But mince and tatties was the one.
Yeah, still my favourite food.
Mince and tatties.
Yeah, favourite.
What about you, Russ?
It's just the example that George set as a player, that when we got in the team a couple of years after, or 3 or 4 years after George made his presence in the first team, you looked at the amount of work that George did after training, you know, serving the ball into strikers, crossing, and you think, crikey, you know, that's the standard that we've all got to follow. Of course, if George is doing that and that keeps him in the first team, that's what we've got to do.
But he used to after training, as Russell says, he used to get the wide players, younger ones, whoever, the wide players that come against him, so the left wingers come against him and do 1v1s. And he would work at 1v1s, and he just used to watch him, and he would get his technique right. You know, the left-sided midfield players or wingers, they would disappear afterwards because George used to call them over, so they were getting extra work. And he would hammer them as well. He would just time his tackles really well, and he was such a perfectionist. that no one got past him. But then he would
sprint
go down
work as
past
well.
him.
There's sprint
Yeah.
work as well, wasn't there? So
Weight
crossing,
jacket.
sprints,
Used to put a weight jacket on,
exercise.
run sort of box to boxes.
A weight jacket.
Yeah, a little weight jacket round in my middle.
All right.
Have you never seen that?
No.
So those are the good examples that you would follow as a youngster coming into the club if you wanted to get anywhere.
Fantastic.
You know, and that's what.
Yeah, but you'd always know where George was because you'd hear that shout, that funny sound that he made on the right wing when he's calling for the ball, and then he would berate you in a Scottish accent that you didn't even understand.
What was his funny sound?
I can't possibly divulge it. It was. I thought it was like someone had grabbed the testicles of a dog on the far side. Well, maybe a bit lower pitched, I think, to be
How
honest.
do you know that? Is that what you do to your dog?
No, but I'm just guessing, George. I'm just guessing that was. But
My pups
like
is not going to you, that's for sure.
I do remember a couple of days, Mark, on the training ground where George has not agreed with whether it was Sir Lee or what Sir Bobby was saying. And there's no backing down, was there? You were a bullshit bugger, you weren't you, on the quiet. You would stand his corner and just say, nah, not having it. And that was it. And it'd be real head-to-head.
That was another one of my weaknesses, you know. I've had a strong mind of what I thought I used to say. You've got to be that as a manager. You've got to be clear.
Yeah.
You know, and somebody's messing about training, wouldn't have it.
So how would you have handled yourself in that situation then, George? How would you have handled how you reacted to Sir Bobby?
Well, you ever worked with Jim Magilton?
Oh, yeah.
Jim used to do that all the time. But Jim was an Irishman, nothing wrong with Irishmen, by the way, and he had a strong personality, and Jim used to fly off the handle. So you had to treat him a little bit differently to other ones, because everybody's different. Yeah. You know, and even your coaching had to change, because we used to be black and white. As the time went past, you know, the youngsters were coming through they were never told off before. So you had to change your style. You know that with youngsters, you know. I wouldn't want to be a parent these days. My dad used to get slipper out and then hit me in the backside. I didn't do it again. I didn't do it again. And coaching's the same. You had to vary a little bit and treat people differently. But if you knew that player was on your side and he had a reason for what he thought, you would say, okay, I'll hear what you say, Jim, but you're still wrong. And then move on.
Hey, look, Neil, everybody needs this who's a Town fan for Christmas. They really do, because it is a fabulous, fabulous read. Where can we get it from?
You can get it from the website, www.georgeburleybook.com. The collector's edition, of which there was 913 produced, there's very few of them available now. You can't actually get that through the website anymore, but it is in the shops. So there's a list of retailers on the website. It's in the club shop, it's in Knock Cuts, it's in Waterstones in Ipswich, and a few other shops as well. So hurry if you want one of those, because they are running out.
Wonderful, wonderful thing. Amazing. And yeah, just great. Just get it for Christmas, because it is really, really good. I'm getting quite a collection of books here. There's Dozer's book over here. There's Game Changers one over there. There's all sorts. But this is it's a well done, Neil. It's a fabulous book. And a big round of applause for George and Neil, everybody. Just before we move on, George, people knowing you are coming on the show today, we've had so many messages of support, love, best wishes to you. How are you at the moment? We know that you've got a cancer journey that you're on at the moment. So how are you? How are things?
Yeah, I'm good. I've finished my chemo. So
stick your microphone up.
Yeah, I feel good. I've finished my chemo. I'm waiting to find out when I'm going to have the operation. I made sure I had my tatties and mints before I come out tonight. So no, I'm good. I'm good, and I'm in good hands, and going step by step. But the signs are very optimistic, and hopefully I'll be 100% before too long.
Fantastic. Well, we wish you we wish you the best, don't you? You're going to have a go at the Table Football Challenge in a bit, aren't you, as well? So all is good, all is good. Right, quick word about what happened on Sunday. We won, didn't we? My goodness. We are staying up. Yes, thank you over there. You went, Russ?
I went, yep. Absolutely fantastic day. The stadium, second to none. Absolutely magnificent stadium. The hospitality, superb. Travelling up on the train with all the supporters, wonderful. Great result. I just had an absolutely wonderful experience.
I've seen some of the
Mark.
pictures on your Facebook page.
Yeah. Well,
of the train journey back
It was
and
an
forward.
interesting journey home because we got back to Stratford Station and there's 4 lads that they'll know who they are. We're there having a can of lager, sharing a can of lager, and there's blue and white shirts everywhere. Everybody's happy. We all jump on the train. We had the right platform and everything. And 10 minutes up the road, we realise we're halfway to Southend and not Ipswich.
Brilliant.
Sounds like a normal journey back when we won. Yeah.
So we had another can of Red Stripe. Other lagers are available on the train. Came back and then went back up again. And it was a lot quieter on the train later on. But had an absolutely magnificent day. The performance was wonderful and, like I say, a great experience.
Yeah, Smodics and Delap.
Fantastic, weren't they? You know,
Saw the game out, didn't we?
for me, I thought the goalkeeper set the standard on the day. You know, he was very positive and that seemed to, you know, give vibes to everybody else that, right, you know, we mean business today. They're really good.
Jambo?
Just incredible. Yeah, I watched most of it through Russell's Instagram and that. It was brilliant. Just amazing. Like, I'd like people to put their hands up really honestly if they thought we would get 3 points on the weekend.
I predicted
three of you,
2-1 last
okay.
week.
Yeah,
you know,
well,
you can go back on
you did, didn't
yeah,
you?
I did.
I
You
feel
can go
bad
back.
for not giving the boys a chance, but yeah, what a performance and the goals and the way. Like, I think it was almost like a culmination of everyone realising, okay, we're in the lead here and let's approach it a little bit differently. And I think they just saw it out perfectly. Fantastic performance, great goals, real emphasis when we attacked, really clear. I think Cahoust in the middle was tremendous as well. So yeah, just what a day.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Butch?
Well, I mean, it's great to win before an international break because you can really, really enjoy the occasion. And undefeated in 2 games, scoring good goals, defending well. Cahoust, as you say, you know, he wasn't getting a lot of favoured remarks before that, but he's grown into it now. And it is a case of taking time. Is a case to get everybody together a lot down that right hand side, and he's been first class. So you know, I just think that the goals came at the right time. He only put 3 subs on, which is not like him because all the 5 normally go on, but because they were doing so well and they were a well knit unit. So I just think it's supremely positive. It does give us great hope, and I think that, you know, they've got games coming up. We've got, you know, Man United, but we've got other teams as well. We've got like Palace, Bournemouth, Wolves, Forest, things like this. So, you know, there are teams there that we can win. But I think we can do well in every game, as George said right at the start. You know, they've really shown that they can match teams. It's just getting that winning edge, which they've done now, get over the line, and creating more chances because they certainly can take them.
And do we think we need to wear the pink shirt every week now?
Yes.
Well, yeah, why not?
Lucky
Why
charm. I mean,
Why
it's quite
not?
a good contingent in the pink corner over there this evening.
Yeah, no, I think
who are
it
doing
looked
that?
great at, I was going to say White Hart Lane, at Tottenham Stadium. It was fantastic. You walk out on the pitch and, you know, there's a lot of blue and white there anyway, you know, but the pink stood out a mile, and it was like the icing on the cake.
Well, perhaps Mr. Sheeran will put his hands in his pocket now for further sponsorship, having seen
Maybe.
his shirt
Maybe.
on the pitch.
He was making the most of it, like the rest of us at the end, wasn't he? Bless him. George, that will really mean a lot, won't it? You know what it's like to get that first win under your belt.
Yes, but I haven't been worried about our performances. I always believe perform well to win a game. I mean, we should have won the week before. We get decisions was diabolical, and we actually played, I think, probably better against Leicester. You know, I thought we were really good and end up, you know, just getting a point. So yeah, I think it's very encouraging. It's all about a team. The team's getting more solid. The goals there. Our midfield's great. I mean, Morsley's still top man to me. So very encouraging, you know. And it'll be a long season, you know. And no matter how you play, it'll be a tough game. There's not any easy games in this league. But as long as we keep performing the way we're doing, I don't think problem. And what made it even better, I had a great day at Carrow Road on Saturday as well to see the Scum getting beat with Bristol. So keep it going. That's all I'm saying.
That's a
keep
perfect
it going.
weekend, isn't it? Fantastic. I love it. Time for this week's Life's a Pitch TV Player of the Week, sponsored by the Dove in Ipswich. So, Russ, we'll start with you. Who's going to be your Player of the Week?
The goalkeeper for me.
Okay.
Because I just thought he set the tone and he needed a decent performance. He was not bad against Leicester, and he just upped it again against Tottenham, and I think that just set the scene for everybody. It made everybody look and feel a lot more confident.
Terry?
Sammy Smodic scored a great goal, set up a second one. He can't do much more in a game, really, to be honest. So I thought he was great.
Okay. Luke?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Sammy Smodic got to Tottenham and score an overhead kick, and you get the result.
Cementing his place now, isn't he? He should have been playing more, I think, this season than we've
Yeah, and I
seen
think he's been able to play a lot further inside at the minute, which probably when he first got in the team was maybe a little bit unsure about that left-hand side and what his role in it was, but he looks a lot more comfortable now with Leaf getting around the outside, which we've become accustomed to over the last couple of years. So, yeah, I thought it was a brilliant signing when we've got him, but when he gets the chance, he scores his goals.
Take your point about Muric. He's going for a lot of stick, but
Good
you know,
point.
good performance from him.
A little bit surprised, Mark, that Chappers didn't get a start again because he'd been our Player of the Week for the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
But I think Amari Hutchinson had his best sort of 90 minutes that he's had this season. He looked very mature, especially in the last sort of 20 minutes of the game, where he kept the ball very well for us, and played it very sensibly.
George?
I think Hutchison, I mean, when you're away from home and you're solid there, you've got your low block on there, you need somebody to carry the ball. And Hutchison does that brilliantly. Get the ball off him is not easy, because he can go left, he goes right, he spins, he's sharp, he's tenacious, and that's very important, because if you're getting a lot of pressure, you need somebody like that away from home. And I thought he was terrific, from start to finish, right at the end when you're looking to keep hold of the ball. And if anybody attacks him, he'll win a free kick for you. So somebody like that's important when you're away from home.
The only sort of worry is that Hutchinson's now on 4 bookings, so like Morsey. So you never think Hutchinson would get bookings, but he's got 4 of them. So yeah, well done, but not well done.
Okay, right. So well done to Sammy Smodic. Round of applause for our Player of the Week, I think. We're going to have to canter right the way through for the rest of the show, because we've got lots still to squeeze in. And Russell, you've become an ambassador.
I have. For All About Hearing.
Oh, I thought this meant we'd get some Ferrero Rocher from you. The advert, if I need to explain it, doesn't really work, does it?
No,
But
it
go
doesn't,
on.
Mark, really. I think that's... No, but, I was having a little bit of trouble with tinnitus and stuff like that, and my hearing wasn't as good as it used to be, so Karen Finch from All About Hearing sorted me out with some earpieces, and I can hear a lot of what you say now, Mark.
Good.
Is that a good thing?
Well, every time I've got some hearing aids from All About Hearing as well, and every time I come in here I turn them down, especially when you speak. So there
Thank
we are.
you.
Great.
I'm still going to see you in the car park afterwards, Roger. Right, so get time for my own back now, actually, because it's time for Ask the Legends, sponsored by Seckford Golf Club. And we've got Tony from Seckford at the moment. Terry, let me remind you, it's 9.5 to Russell and 4.5 to you.
Yeah, I really look forward to coming in here and getting beaten every week. I really do, yeah.
I know, but it's your chance to get one back.
Is it that much of a gap now?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, you've been away a long time.
I know, mate.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I'd wish you'd go
10
away
minutes
again.
late. Or
So
thought it was 8.5,
the three of you
5.5,
can either
but-
help or hinder R2 over there if you wish. Tony,
not
what's your
right,
question this week?
Nice, easy one tonight. A player you've both played with, so equal chance, I think. How many appearances did Arnold Muren make for Ipswich Town?
How many appearances did Arnold Muren make for Ipswich Town? Neil is a bit of an expert, and he's just whispered in George's ear, who's just whispering at the boys. So you've got... I don't know whether George is putting you off or giving you the right answer. I don't know, really.
I haven't said it was.
So do you want to come up with an answer? You've got your boards there to write it on.
Hear.
Get your boards out.
Well, Russell can't hear anyway, so that's all right.
So how many appearances did town legend Arnold Muren make for the town? Going to have to hurry you up because we're running short on time tonight. And we've still got table football to do and man v fat and all those kind of things. So, Terry's written an answer down. Russell has now just about done the same. So, Terry, would you like to pick up your microphone and tell us how many appearances Arnold Muren made for Ipswich Town?
230.
230. Okay. Russell?
140.
140.
Big difference between us, yeah.
So, Tony, we're doing the nearest two.
161.
161.
Oh, I've lost again.
Oh, no suspense, just straight in. Brilliant.
I have
Lucky Butch.
Well, I have to say,
The nightmare continues.
a certain.
Left here now. Should we call it off? Start again.
I think he's going to meet you in the car park as well.
I'll be gone. I'll be long gone.
I just want to understand, is there a certain collaboration going on here? Because you're very good golfers.
so.
There must be some golf speak or something
No, I
going
was
on
watching
here.
George just now going, lower, lower, when he saw what he'd written. But
Yeah, but he saw me write that and he didn't say anything else afterwards.
anyway, round of applause for Russell Osman.
Thank you.
210.
Thank you, Tony from Seckford. Time for...
Stewards inquiry, yeah.
Oh, is there?
It's, that's league games, isn't it? Not cup games as well.
That's what Tony said.
I'm sure he said league games.
I'm not
League games, yes.
not sure he said that, but
Oh,
anyway.
no, he didn't. Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, no, he didn't.
I'm sure I saw his lips
We're just going to
move.
gloss over that. I'm sure it's fine. Right, time for our table football challenge, sponsored by Fred Olsen Logistics.
We'll be happy with that, but
It's time. It's time for our table football challenge. So we have 2 England international defenders. It's England-Scotland. So Neil and George are going to take on Terry and Russell. Basically, George and Neil, you've got 60 seconds to score as many goals as you can against our England internationals. Grab yourself some balls so that we've got plenty to go in there. And we'll start on my whistle. Bear with me. 1, 2, 3. Hold on. So it's kicked off. George is playing a good defensive role. Neil is striking. Oh, it's 1-0 to our England defenders. 1-0. Oh, Neil! What a strike from the halfway line. 1-1. There's a Kevin Beattie shot from the halfway line, wasn't it? Or a Jason Cundy. It's George and Neil doing very well at the moment, keeping it up the opposition end. Oh, it's 2-1. 2-1 to George and Neil. You've got about 30 seconds. Keep going. Keep going. 2-2. High scoring draw here.
Oh, broke his leg.
George is channeling his best Paul Cooper. Go on, Terry. Oh, very close. Off the goal line. Just on the whistle, 3-2 to George and Neil. Well done. Well done, George. Man of the match.
There was a tilt. There was a tilt on there. I saw it.
Was
when
there?
the ball was going in, it's a tilt.
Right. What have we got? Oh, yes. The Renegade Statman's been in touch. Just a quickie for you. He says, good evening, everybody. Sunday's victory was only the 3rd occasion where Ipswich Town have won in front of 60,000 plus fans. What were the other 2 matches?
60.
Is this a point?
60,000 plus. Sunday's victory was only the 3rd occasion where Ipswich have won in front of 60,000 plus
FA Cup
fans.
final,
The
Charity
other 2
Shield.
matches were
FA Cup final,
FA Cup
Charity
final.
Shield, Barcelona.
What did we hear over here? Playoff final at Wembley.
Playoffs, yeah.
The 2 Wembley appearances, only time over 60,000 plus for those that we won in front of 60,000. So 78 at Wembley, 2,000 at Wembley. So well done, George, for those 2. Time now for On This Day in History. That's sponsored by Fred Olsen Logistics.
Right, straight out of Dan Botton's book. Saturday the 13th of November 1937. You remember this, Mark? New Ipswich manager...
Is it Get at Mark week this week? I don't know.
Yes.
Thanks.
New Ipswich manager Scott Duncan marked his first game in charge with a 3-0 FA Cup qualifying victory at Chelmsford's Hoffman Athletic. Strange one. Also on Tuesday the 13th of November, this time 1979, Bobby Robson's testimonial against an England 11 saw George Best turn out in an Ipswich shirt before 23,284 Pullman Road fans in a 2-2 draw. And that's all that happened on the 13th of November.
Do you remember that game?
Yes.
Yeah, you remember that game. And you remember who played one of the players for, was it an England team? Is that right?
Yeah.
It was Ricky Villa. Ricky Villa for England. I mean, like, come on.
Ricky Villa, George Best for...
Yeah.
Bestie looked good in a town shirt, though, didn't he?
He did.
I mean, for a long while it was up in Sir Bobby Robson's suite. I don't know if it's still up in there, a picture of him. But he looked great in a town shirt.
Ray Wilkins played.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, but it was the stories after the game was the best thing, George's best, though. They were brilliant. Couldn't possibly repeat them, but, you know.
Oh. When the cameras stopped rolling, then, just for us.
He did tell us who was going to be the 1, 2, 3 for Miss World
Miss
the
World,
next
yeah.
night.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
because he judged them because he'd slept with all 3. Allegedly.
It's all right, you can't libel a dead man, you're fine. It's time to talk about Ipswich Town's women. They thrashed Cheltenham 7-0. Well done. Hat-trick from Natasha Thomas, so well done the women. The Man v Fat results. Another week of fun football and weight loss goals in Ipswich this week. Town fan Paul Deeks hit his 15% milestone, along with Sandro Suarez. But the big news this week is an 8-2 win for the 11s against Norwich City on their own patch. Keith Fair was voted man of the match, but a shout out to town fan Tom McGarry, who still has their winger in his pocket even now. This week's results: Ivory Toast 6, Borussia München Flapjack 8. The Red Hot Chubby Fellas 1, the Red Cat Funts 15.
Go on, the Funts.
The Wickham Waddlers 7, Galatasaray 12, L'Argentina 9, Dinamo Kebab 3. That's from Man v Fat Mark. Well, it's been a great show. I hope you've enjoyed it, listening and watching in our capacity crowd. George, you know, all the best with your recovery. And it's just, we could talk to you for hours. Your passion is still there. The stories and the book, fabulous. So, George Burley, everybody. Just like being back in the dugout again, George, isn't it, here and there? Fantastic. They were great days. That's it for this week. Thank you to our legends. Thank you to our capacity crowd. Thank you very much. We'll be back next week, and then we'll be looking ahead to a game against a certain Manchester United. Who are they? Hey, who are they these days? One thing for me to say, 2 words: Blue Army! Blue Army! Blue Army! This has been a Life's a Pitch TV production. Main sponsor, DPS Tech. Also supported by Lakens, All About Hearing, Forward Floors, Ginger Pickle, Fred Olsen Logistics, The Dove, Seckford Golf Club, Ashford Wright, John Keeble Cars, Venue 16, The Hudson Group, Come Hither Design, Sound 4 Pro Audio, and Suffolk Sound. Our charities this year: Cancer Support Suffolk and the Ipswich Town Community Foundation.